Hey, what's up, guys? So this is going to be the Demonology PvP guy from Miss Pandaria. Sorry it's a little bit late. I've been busy with work and I'm moving to a new apartment and I've been busy doing a lot of arenas and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been busy. So anyways, here is the guide. It's going to be in 3 videos. So this video is going to be covering our talents. The next one's going to be going over glyphs and macros and stat priorities. And the last video is going to be going over rotation and burst. So yeah, let's start off with this first video on talents. So I'm going to be doing this a little bit differently than I did the Destro video. Instead of, I'll just be going tier by tier and explaining when you would take each talent. Okay, so in this first tier, it's really simple. You're always going to take Dark Regeneration. It's a really good cooldown. I recommend stacking it with Glyph Hellstone. Gives you a pretty powerful hot. So just always take this no matter what kind of PvP you're doing. It's really good. This next tier is our CC tier. The first thing to know is that you don't really want to take Shadow Fury ever. And that is because it's a stun, and that's going to DR with your Felguard stun. The next, and then, so you basically have a choice between Howl and Mortal Coil. I take Howl when I do arenas mostly, and RBGs. Mortal Coil is good for kind of solo situations when you're by yourself, so maybe in random BGs it's really good. Sometimes in arena, it's good if like a team is kind of like resilient to fear, so say you're facing like a warrior and an enhanced shaman and like, I don't know, a paladin or something, you might not want to get Howl because the warrior and the enhanced shaman, they're going to break out of your fears anyway, so sometimes a coil might be better. Okay, so this next tier is our survival tier, our defensive cooldowns. By default, I mostly always take Sacrificial Pact. It actually puts a pretty big, shield on me. Let's see if we can see here. Yeah, it puts a 230,000 shield on me, and that's on a minute cooldown. This is enough to save me. Now, each of these talents have a downside, so let's go over this. Sacrificial Pact has a downside of it cuts your pet's health in half, so your pet's going to be more prone to dying. But if your pet isn't going to be dying, if you're facing a team or something that might not kill it, then this is a really good choice. Dark Bargain, it's like you cannot die when using this. By the way, both these talents you'll be able to use when you're silenced or CC'd or stunned or whatever, so that's really nice about these. But about Dark Bargain, so you can't die when this is up, you can't even take any damage, but the downside is, when the shield fades, you're going to take 50% of that damage that you would have taken in that 8-second Dark Bargain. So if a team recognizes this and doesn't blow a ton of damage into you, they can actually pop big damage after this and after you have that dot on you. And you can just take a ton of damage. So you might have to use a secondary cooldown to survive, even if you pop Dark Bargain. So yeah, you have to be really smart about popping this, because a good player, a good team can take advantage of that. Soul Link, you don't really want to take. I don't think it's that good as demo. The one time you want to take it is if you absolutely cannot keep your pet alive. Soul Link is going to keep it alive because you won't die if your pet is still alive. Or because your pet's not going to die if you're still alive. That's basically how it works now. Okay, so this next tier. Basically, for arenas, you're always going to want to take Blood Fear, almost always. Sometimes you can take Unbound Will, but Blood Fear has just been so clutch. I love it. Even for RBGs, it's really good. For random BGs, you have a choice between Blood Fear and Unbound Will. Now, Burning Rush actually it's really useless actually for PvP, but if you go tank spec Demonology, this can actually be good for flag carrying because it can help you get across the map really quickly with this on and like your demonic leap and stuff. So if you have a healer with you, this draining the health, it doesn't even matter that much. Okay, so for this pet tier, here's the difference of what you want to do. So you want to take Supremacy. That's what I normally take because you're going to be using the Felguard almost always. The upgrade that your Felguard gets is more damage, obviously, and his Mortal Strike effect, his healing debuff, mitigates healing by 25%. So normally, if you don't have that, it mitigates healing by 10%. So that's a pretty big deal. So I like this. Your pet also gives you Fury. Now, the sacrifice spec is something that's been gaining some popularity. You'll hit 30% harder with like your Chaos Waves, your pretty much everything you do except for your dots and stuff like that. But all your single target spells are going to be 30%, are going to hit 30% harder. So if you want like the most powerful one-shot macro or whatever, you can take sacrifice. I actually do it in twos a lot because twos is a lot about just bursting with your Dark Soul. So, but the thing is, you do lose the Mortal Strike, you do lose the pet stun, you do lose the Fury that that your pet gives you. So it's a lot to give up just for higher burst. So by default, I would take Supremacy, but you can play around with Sacrifice, and some people like it. Now this last tier, it's a kind of a no-brainer. Hellfire is a really big Fury generator from it, and taking Manoros Fury will increase that range of Hellfire by a lot. So this is pretty much what I always take. I never spec out of this, really. Okay, so that concludes the talents. So the next video is going to be on glyphs and stat priorities and macros. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.